Hey, what is up, fellow raiders? This is Vulcan Dan, and in today's Raid Shadow Legends video, we are going to talk about this special Fire Night tournament that will actually begin in less than 2 hours. This one is a special one because you are only allowed to use champions from the Nyresan Union. That is the last row in the champion index. So that is the Shadowkin and the Dwarf faction. Yes, just those two factions. So we are quite limited in this one, but that might be a good thing because maybe not a lot of players will go hard for this one. And of course, a lot of players right now are focused on the Hydra clan boss. So this might be a good way to sneak in some of those easy rewards just in case you have some of these champions that I'm about to mention, in case you have some of them built up. And yeah, sometimes these events like this will have increased rewards compared to other tournaments. So you might get some ancient shards, void shards, maybe some epic books. And yeah, they might be easier because again, not a lot of players will go hard for this Fire Night tournament. All right, so let's get to those champions. From the Shadowkin faction, not a lot of these legendaries are very useful for the Fire Night because we are looking for a triple hit A1. We have Genzin right here, which is my only recommendation from the legendaries from the Shadowkin faction. He has a triple hit A1 with a turn meter fill, and he has this AoE decreased defense on his A2 and this huge nuke single target on his A3. But yeah, really the most important part of his skill is this triple hit A1. So Genzin is my only recommendation from the legendaries. For the epics, we have Toragi. Even though he does not have a multi-hit A1, he does place decreased attack, so that is quite useful. He has this A2 provoke that can be useful for the waves, but really his most important skill for the Fire Knight is this A3 because he places reflect damage on your entire team for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown when booked. So this is going to be huge. If you're not familiar with this mechanic, if you have reflect damage on when the Fire Knight hits you with his AoE nuke, you will immediately remove 5 shield counters because that's 5 champions, and that will you will have 5 reflect damage on that, and that would of course make your job a lot easier when facing the Fire Knight. And of course, this being a 3-turn on a 3-turn cooldown will make it very consistent, so you're able to consistently remove all of those Fire Knight shields every time he does that AoE nuke. All right, so another from the epics in the Shadowkin, we have Fenshi. All 3 of his skills are multi-hitters. Triple hit A1 with decreased speed, very useful for the Fire Knight. A2 triple hitter with a turn meter reduction. So again, that is very useful for the Fire Knight. This one is on a 2-turn cooldown when booked. So this is very consistent right there. And a double hit A3 that will place poisons. This one is on a 3-turn cooldown. Now, Fenshi is one of those champions that is not really that useful in so many areas of the game because all of his skills are single target. So you might not have him built out, but just in case you have, he is very, very, very good in the Fire Knight because of all of his skills being multi-hitters. All right, so that's really it for the Shadowkin factions. Not a lot of choices, but we do have more from the dwarves. These legendary dwarves are not that useful for the Fire Knight, but if you have them, might be useful to use them, but just make sure you have other champions that will do those multi-hitters. For the epics, we have Beardal Fellhammer, who I think is the worst dwarf epic, but the one area in the game wherein he shines is really the Fire Knight. So even though he is quite useless in the other areas of the game, in this Fire Knight tournament, he's going to be actually really, really good. He has this double hit A1 with heal reduction. You do want heal reduction on the Fire Knight. And we have this triple hitter, decreased defense. And every single turn, he will place counterattack on himself, which is also very useful because when the Fire Knight hits him, other than the reflect damage from Toragi, if you have him on your team, he will remove additional shields from this counterattack. So he will counterattack with this double hitter A1. So yeah, Beardal, very good for the Fire Knight. We also have Gala Long Braids. She has this double hit A1 and a triple hit A3 that places an extra turn if she has full HP. So you might want to put her in lifesteal gear, or you might want to bring a healer to make sure that she is at full health whenever she uses this skill. She does have a single hit, single target A2 that hits really hard, but you want to save this when the Fire Knight's shield is down. This will really shorten your Fire Knight run. But yeah, double hit A1 and triple hit A3, very good for the Fire Knight. We also have one of the newer champions, Demitha, who is of course very well known in those clan boss teams for her block damage on her A3. This skill will also be very useful for the Fire Knight if you want to manual this fight. She also has that continuous heal, which would come in handy. Double hit A1 with a shield, and she has this nice A2 as well that can help out. But it's really this A1 and this block damage on her A3. Now we also have Fodbor. Yeah, so this guy is well known in the Dwarves faction because he's the one that places AoE decreased defense among the Dwarf epics. But he has this triple hit A1 with heal reduction. Again, very useful for the Fire Knight, and this one can be good for the waves as well. But yeah, for the boss itself, it's this A1 and this decreased defense on his A3 will be useful both for the waves and for the actual boss fight. And lastly, we have Geomancer. Even though he does not have a multi-hit A1, but he places HP burn and weaken on his A3 with a full turn meter depletion on the A3, and if the target has HP burn, will decrease the damage all allies receive by 15%. So this is great for keeping your team alive, but he will also deflect that damage onto the enemy if they have the HP burn placed by this champion. So again, this works like the reflect damage. So you're going to reduce the shield counters of the Fire Knight if you have the HP burn placed by Geomancer. So yeah, this guy, even though again he does not have a multi-hit A1, he sort of works like Toragi in this case. All right, so that's it. Those are my recommendations. Not really, I mean, if you have, of course, Brogni, Trunda, Herndig, they can be useful, but make sure you have other champions in your team that will bring those multi-hits, like Burdle, we have Fodbor. Yeah, so those are my recommendations. Not a lot of champion choices, so I'm thinking not a lot of players will go hard for this one. So if you're one of those few players that have some of these champions built up, you might want to give it a shot. Get those or sneak in those easy rewards, maybe get a book or two and maybe a shard or two. Yeah, so in preparation, of course, for our next events, we are expecting a ×2 void this weekend. Maybe, of course, a ×2 ancient that will be 2 weeks after that one, and that might be, of course, with that Christmas fusion. So you might want to prepare, get those books, get those shards early on. All right, that is it for today's video. And of course, while we are doing this special Fire Knight tournament, let's also try to figure out this new Hydra clan boss all together so that we can come up with ways to defeat that. But yeah, there's no reason why we can't get these easy rewards in this special tournament. All right, thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and also I'll see you guys in my next video.